G'day team, welcome back to this lovely little slice of paradise. I've got a brand new big old box of paint, and inside this box are all the fun colours that we could ever imagine that we needed. So, green, more green. Bunch of colours, greens, yellows, basically everything we need. These colours are going well, but just need a few more pigments. The beauty these days of acrylic paint is you can literally have all the colours you possibly want, and they can all be in separate tubes just like this. Back in the day, you'd be mixing them up yourself and trying to do all that carry on. And I've got everything I need. It is a bit cloudy, and in fact, the reason we stopped before was because the rain was coming down so heavily that it was ruining the acrylic paint. Water-based, well, it's got water in it, but it's plastic. Anyway, I'm not sure if all these tubes are kosher without paint on them, so if we get any particularly sticky ones, the glove will help with that. And the plan is more colour, more layers on this lovely piece here. But yeah, because we're on the edge of well, it's a gorge, but on the edge of the ridge of the gorge, the challenge we have is when cloud banks or weather comes through, it either slides over us down or into us over. And that's the world we live in. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. I might even go as far as this one here is moulding paste, so this can be quite handy because this modelling compound just adds thickness to it by default. So I'll show you this here. It's kind of like artist cement, and what I love this stuff, it does very much so add an extreme thickness to what we're doing. There you go, look at it there. Voila, that's the party. All right. Joe, I saw you in a live set earlier though. You've been here before, like literally today though, right, Joe? Unless it was a different Joe. Anyway, welcome on in, Joe. Good to have you here. Let me get a bunch of this. There we go. See here, it takes away the colour of the paint, but it does add incredible, see that there? That's not going to drip, it's just raw texture now. It wasn't you, but someone was spamming the chat. I'm sorry about that. Greetings to California, welcome on in. Didn't realise someone was spamming the chat, but I guess it happens. Ideally it wouldn't, but it does. Oh, we have the culprit here, do we? Tut tut. Get this mixed up in there. You can see this here. This is what we're working with. Can you see that, how thick this gets? See that? You can see that if I just leave that, all that texture's gonna stay right where it is. Can you see what I'm talking about? If I hold it on the angle there. So suddenly we're working with extreme amounts of 3D functionality, which is kind of fun. And we just need to make sure we get this and not just put it on too boring, actually let that texture play on the painting. Don't let it just kind of add some boring flat bits. We want that poof off the surface. There we go. There we go, lovely. I wonder if I can bring you any closer. There you go, how's that? It's easy for me to read there from there too. Okay, so what we're going to do is add all this green with a texture onto the surface, and then after we've done that, we can break away and grab out some of our other colours. But for now, thick green texture is going to be our game plan the whole way through the surface. There we go. Just like that. 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 Everyone's going out of the maze. It's that song right now. Someone's saying the movie Apex. But anyway, it's got a catchy little tune. A lot of tunes are quite catchy though. You got a ball, Loki? You're just gonna sit there and watch me. You get to choose, mate. Life's up to you, mate. But world's your oyster. If I can put you. There we go. Oh, now you got the canvas. Now you get the canvas, you can see what we're up to. Alright. Like I say, texture. Texture's the key right now. Texture's the most fun, to be fair. Now let's get a little bit more of this green. You mix it into that modelling paste and it turns from a liquid which you can't control into something much more sculptural. We want to play much more with the sculptural kind of paints. We can always bring in detail later, even on top of these textures, especially if we stay on the texture bandwagon. We have full control no matter what we end up doing, which feels good. There we go. Good about texture too. The more you steer into it, the more you can steer into it. You don't need to tone down or anything. If you need a flat surface, then you need to keep a flat surface. You can't add too much paint onto it. But if you're working with texture, world's your oyster. However you want to swing it, you can put more paint on it, more paint on it, more paint on it, go thicker, thicker, thicker. And all you have to do is keep building up more texture. Your work might become absolutely chronically 3D, but at the same time, that just kind of makes it more fun, you know? You just got to make sure you get no objects that are just a little bit too far off the surface without being connected, because if that happens, you actually can't ship it that easily because they're too fragile. So careful of that. What's up, Vinny? Welcome on in. Can I buy a drawing? Of course you can, Karen. I'd love for you to own a drawing. I haven't done many drawings actually, not in recent years, mainly paint, because I just love colour so much. But there's prints available on the website, and they're great pieces. Collection from a few from 2022, 2024, 2025. There's a few extra prints inbound, and if you want a commission of a painting, then you want to go to a commission form on the web page. There's about a 3 or 4 commission waiting list at the moment, so would love to have you on it. Would love to bring your idea to life in my style. Thanks, Natasha. Lovely to have you here. And who's that there? Chef. Thank you, Chef. Appreciate you joining us here. So I'll bring you close shortly to show these textures. But for right now, I want to get the rest of this paint on the surface. Thick, juicy, uncontrolled, well, controlled to a degree, but messy. I'm making let me just bring you back here, team. I'm making a painting of a gorge. So we have this lovely reflection of a mountain down here, a flat plateauish area here, and these tall cascading mountains up here. You'll start to slowly see it coming together in terms of this flat area, these hills and the reflection. This should get a bit more of a watery feel to it as we go on. And yeah, bit of fun. Everything's a bit of fun. There we go. Lovely. Get that in there. We're going to need to dive into probably a bit of yellow and white on top there. Did I bring yellow over, or did I leave it down here on the ground? I think I left it down here on the ground. There she is, Naples yellow. Says, getting a long time here, it's nice. It's great. Old TikTok is almost cheating these days. When someone comes in, it's like, so-and-so's a long-time viewer. Give them a shout out. Or just recognize them if you know who they are. Where is white? That's what we want now. Titanium white. If the lid would come off. There we go. A bit of this here too. Yum, yum, yum. Always try and remember to put my lids back on the paint as I go. Otherwise, I just simply don't. So, trying to get out of the bad habit of letting paints just dry out. Do you have a dog with you? Yes or no? I do. Loki! But he's off having fun, so such is the reality of the situation. He doesn't quite understand what's happening when you paint. When he was a little pup, he used to sit there and just hang out. But now he goes, I'm going to go on an adventure. I'm going to go roam. I'm going to go see what this world has to offer and see where that takes me. There we go. Lovely. There we go. Messy, delectable, tasty, plenty of colour, plenty of texture, everything we want. There we go. A bit up there and a bit over here. These are the ridge, there's the sun hitting those beautiful, beautiful peaks. And the one condition from the collector on this piece is that we go somewhere that we haven't been before, somewhere new, somewhere special, somewhere uniquely me. So that is the plan. Plenty of texture, stupid amounts of colour, but still with an underlying purpose to what we're making. You want to come over here, Loki? Someone's asking if you're about. Do you want to come say hi? Come on, boy. Come on over here. Come on over here and say hi. Everyone wants to see you. Here we go. Here we go. You want to share the frisbee? He's like, I ain't sharing no frisbee. Question, why not more realistic colours? Well, when you get a photo and you turn the saturation on a single colour all the way up and then some random highlights of blue or orange or red start popping out, or whatever colour you were turning up, would you then say there was no blue in the face, or there was a little bit of blue in the face, or the whole face should be blue? With this painting here, a lot of this colour gets covered up, but it needs to be under there in the underlying layers. There's not no red, there's these pockets, these flares of red in the environment. And you have an option when you paint. Well, you could infinite options, but one of the things you can choose is whether you mix the exact right colour and put it there on the surface in front of everyone, or if you put two colours that are on opposite ends of the spectrum, or two colours like red or blue beside each other, and leave the viewer to mix them in their own mind. The brain does it. If you put red and blue beside each other over and over again, you will see green if you get small enough with it, or however you structure it. Monet does this. The brain naturally says to itself, you know what? I'm going to see this. Now, it's good that these paintings are a huge, huge mess, especially up close. But then from a distance, when you pull right away, shall we try it now? We haven't done it yet, but we can give it a go now. Come with me all the way back. If we come all the way back to here. Now, as we come back, although the sky is still yellow, all those wild, crazy colours do start becoming a mountain range with sun on it. They don't have that ridiculous level of colour. And we're still in the early stages of it, but if we come right up, you shouldn't see that at all. It should be absolutely crazy texture. So it gives two kind of paintings. The textured one up close, and the sensical impression of mountains from a distance. And the more layers we go through here, they'll start to show up. And at the start, people will say, often, you know, what the heck? You're crazy. That painting's terrible. And then towards the end, the same people will say, how did that happen? So it's that same children's story with the mother hen baking the cake, and no one wants to help her bake a cake, but everyone wants to eat the cake. A painting's kind of similar to that. But the funny thing about a painting that makes it also quite similar to a cake is it doesn't take much to ruin it. You might make a big accident and it won't work. With a cake, if you add salt instead of sugar, salt instead of baking soda, baking powder, whatever, you can turn what would be success into a catastrophic failure. Same thing with a painting, the wrong medium causing the paint to split, run, never dry, or simply the creative process not going in the right direction and taking a nosedive at the worst possible time, forcing a restart, forcing a complete rehash. You never know. You never know. So what am I saying? I'm saying that actually, although the colours, when you say, why don't you use the exact right colour? There's no such thing as the exact right colour. Every colour there, from a distance, when taking an aggregate, is actually the perfect colour. And if it's not, I did my best. So here we are. Hello everyone, lovely to have you in here. That's a new name, Cypherix, how you doing? And you see the vision? Thanks, Real, appreciate you. G'day Steve, welcome in. And you are more than welcome. I'm glad I could articulate it. Normally I trip over everything. But this picture too with landscapes, it can be a little bit harder to see what's happening because there's so many mountains and alcoves and things that could be one thing or another. You're allowed to have more imagination in a landscape, but it's also harder to see what the core image actually is. You need the things like a portrait's quite straightforward because if you just see an eye, then you can surmise, use deductive reasoning to say, well, that's an eye there, so that must be an eye there, which triangulates the nose to there, which means that's the mouth and that's the chin, and you suddenly figure out the structure of everything simply from one bit of data, a well-distinguished eye. So faces can be kind of cheating, but it also allows you to go more abstract with a face. With a landscape, knowing that this is a mountain doesn't tell you what all this is. It may tell you that this is anything you'd find below a mountain, and this is everything you'd find above a mountain, but it doesn't tell you any additional facts past that. And it's not, so a landscape can leave you guessing, it can leave you wondering what is trying to be shown here, where is the artist trying to go, what was trying to be shown. And I guess it's the job of the person making the landscape to make sure you actually put enough hints, clues, bits and pieces into it that you can actually go, yes, I see the water, I see the sky, I see the mountains, I see the structure behind what was actually being shown there, and I understand it. Because you also have to ask the question, do I want to make a painting that a few people understand, or do I want to make a painting that everyone can understand, or as a larger portion of people can understand? And I would say, I want to make a painting that the majority of people can understand if they gave it 10 seconds. So that's the magic line. If you looked at it and studied it for 10 seconds, would that be enough time to ascertain everything that was happening in there? And if it takes longer than 10 seconds in the world we live in today, I think you've entered into a realm of far too abstract for the majority of people to be able to appreciate it. We don't have that time on our phones. I barely get through the that's my pump. I'm getting it replaced tomorrow. Took you 3 seconds. See, that's not bad. That's not bad. The goal here is that actually we can get this to a place where the majority of people see all the details in it in under 10. Over that, you can't be doing over that. You know, you'll tolerate a reel from your partner or a friend that's 8 to 10 seconds, but it's not fair of a partner or a friend to give you a reel that's 2 minutes. That's too much investment on a reel, you know, or a movie recommendation that's 3 hours. That's just mean. So same thing with a painting. You can't put a painting on the wall of a gallery or in a house and say, just look at it for 3 minutes straight. Don't talk, don't enjoy this dinner party, just stare at this painting for 3 minutes and it might pop out at you. Now, well, that's fun sometimes. It's also fun to just actually have something that in the flow of conversation, once you see it, it's a, oh, wow. And then after that, you can keep noticing more little Easter eggs and complexities in it. But the overall picture, kind of like a, what do you call it, an abstract or a synopsis at the top of a scientific writing. You know, you say, here's a quick 150 word blurb of what's happening in this picture so you can understand it. And then run your own gauntlet. Run your own gauntlet. There we go. Lovely. We're just going to keep getting this thick paint loaded in here. So this painting is of this location we're at. It is the gorge, and over the side of the bank here, it goes down, or the gorge here, it goes down reasonably steep, and then it drops into a very deep gorge where there's water at the bottom. Part of the charm of this place is it's steep, kind of like the Grand Canyon, not nearly as deep, but it, like the Grand Canyon, is fairly stable. So while the top of the surface is soil and a bit of clay, that stuff is just superficial, and underneath is some very strong rock that's been there for a very, very long time. Good morning, Einan. Welcome on in, and okay, La, thank you for being here. That's interesting. Some people might see a rolling river and some might see a gorge. Eyes are cool. That's exactly right. And I think painting needs to do respect to people that allows you to choose what you want to see to a degree. Not completely, you know, have some identity as an artist, but hold the space to allow people to do a little bit of their own imagining. I find that realism typically takes all the imagining off the viewer and says, no, I'm going to tell you what to think. Kind of feels like a one-way conversation a lot of the time with realism. But with Impressionism, it kind of says, hey, I am trying to create the subject, but I want you to also have room to imagine. So Impressionism and like painterly kind of styles are my favorite. Like, no one looked at a Van Gogh and said, by golly, that painting looks like he's in complete control. Everyone sees a slightly different starry night as we put our own psychological priorities on different line work, and that's kind of special. If he mixed those colors and blended them just right and then smoothed them over the surface, we'd all be forced to see the same starry night, and the painting would mean less to us because of that. I'm not here for that kind of game. I want to play a game that does imagine what the viewer might or might not want to see. Hello! Who's this here? Nice and purple Jay. I love that. My favorite Australian artist, so happy to see you. We'll say Australasian. I'm coming to you live from New Zealand, but it's a pleasure to be here. And we're working with a whole array of messy colors. We're letting this picture, basically, with a bit of control, just decide where its palette wants to go. I want to pull back those pinks, those more burgundy tones. They'll sit there underneath and still have an impact, but what we really want is those blues, the greys, and these greens to bring out over the top and really celebrate the actual pigments of the gorge with that flare, that red, that pink, magenta, what's that colour? Royal purple, singing songs underneath. That's what we're after. There we go. And the best way to get more detail in this as we go through the process is we'll actually bring in smaller brushes. Smaller brushes are our trick to making sure we actually do get varying levels of detail. You can try and do big areas with a small brush and small areas with a big brush, but the best thing is do whatever you want with the brush, and then as you go around the surface, just keep letting the size of the brush decide where you go next. An excellent method. There we go. Some more of our lovely juicy texture. Yummy. The Mount Papamoa. No, I'm not in the Mount Papamoa, but through some trees at this house, you can see the mountain Papamoa. I am in the Bay of Plenty, so you're nearby. Let me come on back into here. There we go. My favourite kiwi. Yeah, now you got it. Thanks, Steve. So, if you are here with us and you're enjoying it, any likes, taps and shares and stuff, guys, obviously that helps. But if you want to just chill, I love that too. So do whatever suits you the best. But if you're thinking, you know what, I kind of like this guy's crazy style. I like the way he's thinking. I like the way he talks. It's unlikely. You're going to look after him. Just tap the like button a few times or hit follow, and I might show up again. See. Or don't. You've got free will. You can do whatever you like. If you want to chill here, I would love to have you chill here. If you don't want to tap the like button, I respect that. I respect it as much as the ones who do, actually. You do what suits you best. That's the most important thing. Heck, even actually being here in the live chat, not saying anything, not tapping like, just viewing, just being here, actually helps me make more art. So it's that simple. Thank you very much, guys. I really appreciate that. And it's so simple. It's such a funny thing because this is a commission. This is going to Pennsylvania when it's finished. But commission aside, all the viewership helps me find the next commission, helps me find the next person, helps me find another artist to talk to, hopefully inspire. Not all the time. Not all the time. But some of the time. And after this morning's live, we got a bunch of people, because I was talking about actually Hawke's Bay, love your wine, keep it up, good wine, good wine. I like that. JB, deal me up. Captain Chaos here for service. Chaos, when it comes to painting, the way we're approaching this abstract kind of impressionist style, although it's been done through the last few decades with acrylic paints as well, the need for chaos, the need for primal painting or anything primal, dancing, primal music even, primal food, anything, and chaotic food, chaotic dancing, things that bring back a bit of humanity. How many of us have a white interior in our home? How many of us stare at screens for more than 6 hours a day? Not because we're addicted to them, because sometimes we actually have to. Sometimes, and like, how many of us do the same routine in and out of work over and over again? it's not that it's soul crushing. We might enjoy it in some senses. It's that it can be numbing. The routine and the whitewashing of color. You know, in this year, as opposed to the 80s, there is significantly less color in public and in private homes. Absolutely. And so primal art plays a much bigger role. And we mix around. It's a great question. We mix around. We go from acrylics. Acrylics are great. You can get a whole lot of texture with acrylics that you can't get with oils. If you get the same level of texture with oils, it'll take years and years to dry. So acrylics really play a role if you want to get thick. If you want to talk thick paint, you're talking acrylics. Thick saturation, we're here to party. If you want buttery, glossy color, sorry acrylics, oils are going to win out. But in return for that buttery, glossy color, you're going to miss out on that thicker texture. So it's this trade-off. And sometimes the best way to do it is actually just have both on the surface. A lot of people will tell you, don't mix oils and acrylics, that's bad. Don't mix them in terms of don't have one on top of the other, because since one dries faster than the other, one's going to cause the other to crack. There's these rules they talk about, fat over lean and stuff. Yeah, cool, great rules. But you're totally okay to paint them side by side. And if you do paint them on top of each other and you get cracks, once it's cracked, it is then archivally stable. And if you like the cracks, they're okay. So, don't let anyone tell you not to do oils and acrylics simultaneously, because sometimes if the amount of paint on the surface gets too thick and suddenly the acrylics keep mixing with the acrylics and it turns to porridge, how do you fix that? You fix that by adding oils, because the oils, just like oil and water, they won't mix with the acrylics. So you can keep going on the surface and get some really, really cool effects by dicing between the two. Just make sure you do not put down the oils too thick. Otherwise the acrylics will dry in a day and you'll be waiting for just years for the oils. I've got paintings out there right now that are made of homemade oils, which, great, but they don't have those solvents and dryers in them to make them healthier. And so since it's been quite humid around here, I'm just going to be waiting for years for those things to dry. That's just the reality that we live in. But as of right now, we've got everything we need. Plenty of blue though, plenty of blue. Blue's like a predecessor to black. If we can get blue all over the surface, this painting's only going to get more fun. I think getting a bit dotty though. You guys are a bit close, or are you a bit far away? Can I put you there? Is that all right? Yeah, oh, fantastic, guys. So if I stand out of the way for just a moment and let it, yeah, there we go. So we're starting to see almost like a Monet scene. That yellow in the sky is starting to make a bit more sense. It'll tone back, but that yellow in the sky is kissing down these mountains. You'll see that same yellow reflects down here in some small pieces. And inside this blotchy kind of style, the picture's going to start emerging, just like the Monet water lilies. Now he's addicted to water lilies. Love that. You've got some water lilies, paint them 50 times. Loki, what are you doing down there, mate? I'm going to look for my dog soon. He's fine, don't worry. But I like dicing around subject matter, going from one style to another style to another style. He is fine until he barks, but he has gone down over the side looking for a ball. He does this all the time. There we go. What'd you find, mate? Did you find some? Oh, he's chewing on the flax. Good boy. He's happy. Tell you what, I'm a dog person, team. I'm a big fan of dogs. Because at the end of the day, he's out here hanging out with me, having a good time, cruising around. Can't argue with that. Steve, you have 3 dogs, don't you? Did you say? Was it 2 or 3 dogs? There's a few there from memory. Just trying to remember. more of this texture in there. There we go. I think I'll be on dinner tonight. Got to decide what to make. Maybe a spaghetti bolognese. We'll see how we go. Just gonna get this paint all over the show. Not afraid of texture. Not one little bit. Here we go. Where are you going, Loki? You want to explain yourself? Perfect. We're getting to the stage now where we can actually start stepping back and getting quite clinical with the next colour that we decide to throw at it. I want to see these yellows and oranges just keep moving back, and I want to see these really fun popping greens and blues coming forward. Greens, especially at the start, aren't super exciting. They're just kind of mucky. 5 now. Wow. Man, you got your hands full. Love that. Love that. Hey, Taylor James, welcome on. And who else do we have here? Mond, Yoshi, a couple of faces. If your username is an emoji, makes it a little bit difficult. Is that an eye rolling emoji? No, it's a smiley face emoji. So I guess I call you Smiley. Like a lovely group of us here, which is very, very fun. How many in the room? 92 of you lovely folks. I'll welcome in 92 people from all the random corners of the world that you have coming from. How very kind of you to be here. Who's that? Thank you very much, Tate. I really appreciate that. Glad you love the art. I'll show you this one up close as well. It's a real mess. It's a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Thanks for the follows, team. Bunch of champions. Now, can you see? I'm just going to spin around with a stick here. Bring you on right here close. You're going to see that's the level of texture that we're working to on the surface. So it's really, really leaping off at you. I don't know. I'm trying to show you some more big bits of it in there. Big bits jumping off the surface at you. That's the plan. And then when you come back to here, or let's do the dance. Let's go all the way back to about here. Can we get a better angle there? I'll spin it around here. Excuse me, Loki. Is this going to work here? There we are. Dead center, team. Dead center. Coming on up. Now, from here, looking at that, we're going to admire Loki. Now, it's quite overcast at the moment, so a lot of these colours are going quite flat, but we can see in the tonal changes what's happening there. Get back, let's come forward to about 10 feet away. Let me get that up there. There we go. Now you're facing directly onto it. And see those colours just changing? Depending on where we put it, those shadows completely change. But you're going to start thinking, oh, there is a bit of a reflection occurring there in some sort of flat plateau. See how this area here does feel more horizontal, as if this is sort of like a little, dare I say it, township or flatter area, and these mountains will start rising out of it. Now, I want those mountains as we go to just clash a little bit more, to not, at the moment they have a little bit of harmony to them, as if they're all singing from the same song sheet. Hey, we're a cluster of mountains. We all hang out and rise up in a pretty similar fashion. Now, well, that's nice. What we actually want is for these mountains to say, I'm rising in this direction. I have a very steep slope. I'm facing this way. They want to seem eclectic. They want to seem like they're all doing their own different thing. And part of that will be when the sky keeps coming down and actually pushes those peaks down in different ways. Because here at the gorge, things aren't just the same, synonymous. This gorge is tumultuous. That's the word I'm looking for. I'm not pronouncing it right, but that's the word I'm looking for. All right, let's bring it back in. Looks like rain. Look, the rain is hanging around. Mike, it is a lot of pain. And Amy, welcome on in. You're a champion, Steve. Steve's been a collector ever since. Where do we go back to, Steve? Is it 2021? I think it's 2021. I think it's 2021. Time flies, eh? Every day, Cooper gets a little bit older, and I try and remember how to be a little bit younger. Nashville, that's right, JB. Are you in Nashville? You've always been from Nashville, though, right? Oh, I love Nashville. I remember walking down a strip with all those fancy bars. Man, that was good stuff. Loved that. Every place had live country music. It's the kind of place, if you make it in Nashville, you'll make it anywhere. Is that a thing? I hope that's a thing. Oh, Leonardo. I do not speak that language, but welcome on in. Lovely to have you here. We're slashing around paint on the surface, and we're just going to layer this up and see where we can take it. I think I want to grab, but we won't yet though. Let's just keep thrashing it just for now. More of these horizontal lines coming through here. Thank you, Flora. Appreciate you being here. Just going to bring you around this way. There we go. 109 of you lovely folks. Thanks for all being here, guys. This layer here, I think it's layer 5 on this painting. It should be just still layer 4, but simply because we ended up having to run away from the weather, we're now back here thrashing it again, so that's fun. Lovely textures on it. It's having a lot of fun. I think I might have another crack at it with a bunch of red. Can't help myself, because all the reds right now are flat, and I kind of want those kind of textured reds. Now you're going to see why here, why we've got a glove, because this is what the paint tray turns into. So it's super important that when you're holding it and you get it on your fingers, you're not stuck. That's the rationale there. That's the rationale. So anyway, here we go. Loki's going back at my shoe again. Tragic day. The key to doing this though is you want to try and get it on as sloppy as you can, so you keep the texture and structure of the brush and the paint. I don't want the underlying surface where the textures have already landed to control where the next brush stroke wants to go. The underlying texture might be, God forbid, in the wrong place. So we've got to keep adding texture as if there's no underlying stuff happening. Those big lugs do get in the way, but the goal is to not let big lugs stop us from getting our next colour where it needs to go. Now look at this, we've got ugly yellow, but when I mix it into the turquoise, it's going to go a lovely, lovely green. See that? I hate raw yellow, but see that? That is a gorgeous green. We will party with that. Now that gorgeous green, you be careful, we don't want any big lugs of it. We just want enough caressing the galley, the gorge. Caressing up these hills here, so it looks like the sun actually kissed the sides. That's what we're after. Up through here, up through here, there we go. Really important to get that sun-kissed effect, because otherwise a gorge can quickly, even how it sounds, gorge, it can sound cold, and right now it is a rainy place, but we need to capture that sun-kissed element. It's a moist place, certainly, you know, peaches, pardon me, struggle in a place like this. I know, we have a lot of peach trees, and they are struggling, but still, on the wonderful days, in the summer especially, that sun comes out and it kisses these lovely, lovely banks, these hills, in this place. Even down here, in the reflection area, it's kissing this part and allowing this whole thing to really, start to hit its straps. Let me stand back a bit and look at that team. Sorry, having a look back. Yeah, keep going. Just keep hammering it on. We actually need my favorite color, the one every person tells me not to use, every painting instructor has told me not to use, and that is my favorite naughty treat, black. That there will overpower every other color. Ready? Look at that. We were using green, not anymore. It doesn't even care. There was green underneath that. You think that black's changing color? No, sir. So black's like the ultimate, you know what? I'm done with this color, let's reset. And then you can go from black into gray, because obviously you add white to it. Gray into just about anything in a muted tone. Just about anything into a muted tone into its saturated version. So you've got this little wave technique. You can go around the whole spectrum of colors any way you want, so long as you keep breaking it down like that. So this palette's turning into a mess, but as it goes to black, we can take it out of there, go somewhere else, and then when we want a full factory reset, what do? Just grab a new palette and a new brush. We don't have to be constrained to going grey, muted, saturated, next color. You can go grey, muted, saturated, black, and then on sequence, around and around, practically forever. But sometimes you're like, no, I don't want more black in my image. We're actually at capacity on that front. I want to actually get some, more whites, more highlights, or just straight up. I don't want to muck around with red or blue anymore. I want to get myself into those greens or yellows. So you just throw the palette to the side, and then it's kind of still sitting there waiting for you with the black everywhere, saying, hey, here I am. You want to use me? I'm ready to go with blacks as soon as you are. Now, one thing I'm doing here is to add a bit more form to the picture. I'm cutting those black lines into it. Can you see it from your distance point? Let me bring you up to here. Oh, wrong way. Is it this way? This way. There we go. You can see as I cut them, see how those middle mountains actually start falling back? And you can see on each side, those mountains start coming forward, even though it's all abstract and the same colors. And you just start to see more form coming in. Careful with the black though. The more of it you add, you're going to consume the image with form and lose fun color. You're going to lose chaos and primal stuff because black can only describe and control. And if you give it too much description and control, there won't be any art. It'll just turn into a black, ugly surface. Not ugly, but like, it'll just take over the whole image. And then you need to go from scratch, pulling those colors out again. Sometimes a picture needs that, but sometimes it's a matter of going, right, I'm just going to add a little bit of black in. Be cautious with it. Gently add the black. I'm a bit more brazen though. I'm really forcing it into the picture, but that's because I'm not shy when it comes to this stuff. I'll really hammer it in there. There we go. And I'm also confident that as this painting goes along, I'm really confident that I can actually cut big lugs of colour over the top of this as we go. But being afraid of black, it'll slow you down. You don't want to do that. A lot of paintings actually are weakened by the fact that people aren't confident enough to be a little bit more brazen with the colours that they're throwing at it. So, kind of important. Let me flick this one here. There we go. Benji, Denver, thank you very much, guys. And if anyone else commented there above and I missed it, I'm sorry about that. Dew and Hello Kitty Meow, great name. Appreciate the follows, team. This is basically where the hammer meets the anvil. This is what we do. We make a painting on a live, we complete it, some prints go available, we ship it. The other thing we do is, and it's a bit of fun, I get the replay and cut it up into like a 10-second video. And that's basically just like if you think of like Netflix when you're watching a show and it goes previously on that'll just catch you up to date with where that painting's at. Anyway, bit of fun. Right. We're in the stage now where we're getting a dangerous amount of textures and colours on this piece, and we may start entering the realms of too much on it. And if we get to the stage of too much on it, it'll start turning the whole thing to porridge. But at the moment, I'm feeling pretty good about it. I'm just going to pull this out of the way because I want to work a little bit down in this corner. Just a little bit down here. Wants a bit of love. This has got a floating frame. So it's kiwi timber, it's a floating frame. And so when we go around the edges, we have to go at least around enough that you can't see to the back of the canvas from the floating frame. So I've got to do my homework and get up around these edges to really make sure that it has a finished product at the end of it. A lot of people will chuck things in floating frames that may not have the full piece done around the back there, and sometimes it can look effective. I do it as well, but for this one, since we have the environment, since it's so textured on the front, I want to get it purposeful the whole way around, the wrap, if you will, to really make the piece feel like a controlled mess, like it was purposeful with the strokes. Because you need to give this one a chance, don't you? When you glance at this initially, it's a mess. But if you give it time to grow on you, that 10 seconds that we talked about, the picture emerges. So we've got to give people that opportunity for the picture to emerge. Now let me just look at it from your perspective there, because I do love the phone, because when I come up I can see it as if it's 30 feet away, because it's quite small. And I'm looking at that thinking, see that burgundy colour? And you can see it partying around in here. It's still too strong. It's the wrong colour in the wrong place. Well, it was the right colour, but it's actually playing too much of a role. It's too salmony, champagne-y, magenta-y, highlighty. It's not that deep gorge that I want. So I'm going to hit it up with some deeper magenta, and we'll see if it helps it out. It might do, or it might ruin it. You never know. Let's find out. Here we go. This colour here doesn't have modelling compound through it, so it's not heavily textured, but it's going to sit on top of this magenta, burgundy light colour. See, look what's happened. We're now in a messy, messy state. So I'm going to go use a tap and wash my hands off though, because the one problem with getting paint on your hands, the biggest problem, is you lose a little bit of dexterity with a finer brushwork. It doesn't want to sit comfortably in your hand anymore. It wants to slop and slip around. So that's the challenge we face. Here we go. There we are. Beautiful. Lovely. Right up in there. Now we're talking to it. You see, as you go, I'll just bring you up here to have a little look-see. As you go, these little fun areas start coming up that start having, you know, their own little showdown of, you know, 15, 20 pigments. And then you come over here, like I say, huge amounts of texture, huge amounts. And you get to points like this where at this kind of closeness, at this kind of, you're about 3 inches away from the paint there. And you can see the sheer amount of texture there. But when you come on back, the whole picture wants to start getting continuity. It doesn't want to look abstract when you get to about here. If you glanced over at it, I want you to be able to say, it's like a landscape. There it is. Like, it doesn't want to be abstract for the sake of being abstract. It gives you that up close, because nothing makes sense if you go too close to it. But it does want to, every stroke is methodically in the right place to bring that theme out from a distance. That's the key. And so when you're putting these paint strokes on, although you're focusing on this one little area that's going into, you are thinking about the overarching image that you're trying to create. You don't just let the hand run off and have a bit of fun without actually constantly coming back to the major theme that you're creating. Otherwise, you're talking expressionism and abstract. Hey, Loki, leave the shoe, buddy. Leave the shoe, leave the shoe. I love you, leave the shoe. I know, it's not fair, is it? I'll throw the frisbee for you. I'll throw the frisbee. Good deal. Hold on. Let me just wipe the grass off my hands. Inviting me to chat. That's so nice of you. Unfortunately, no. But let's leap over here. All right, frisbee time. You want this? Woo-hoo-hoo! That's it. Leave my shoe alone. Chewing it into a million little bits like you are. Awesome. I mean, it's a lot of it gone, but not all of it. All right. Coming in here. Let's have a little look. Deary me, that's quite funny. Okay, so I just threw the frisbee for Loki, and you can see him over here. He's now got the frisbee. So he does not have a good grasp on how fetch works, but he does like going to get it. So, that frisbee feels like coarse sandpaper because he's just chewed it to bits. But it still flies, so happy days for that. Let me grab a new palette though, because this one's turned too black. And like I say, careful on the blacks. But we do need to choose now what color plays a role. And I think it's in a funny pocket. It's in a funny pocket. Let me have a little think here. Wants me to do the little jigsaw puzzle piece. And I figured out, it makes me that jigsaw puzzle piece when someone says I wasn't being attentive. So I'm sorry. When you're scrolling through the lives and it comes up and goes, was that person engaging with the live? I'm sorry, I went over there to fetch a plate. It's giving me a hard time. Come on, be nice. Okay, let's go for deep red. Do you want to see it? Okay, this one here. See that? That is the saturation we're talking there. So a proper red color. And that's what we're going to party with. Righty tighty. Wink for us. I can try. I failed. How long have I been working on this piece, Noah? I've done... Ooh. We've done 4 layers on it, and that's that level of texture that's coming through it at the moment. It's probably on about 4 layers, but about 3 to 4 hours right now. We had another piece that we put 15 or so hours into, but it started going in the wrong direction. It didn't feel right, so I put pause on that one, and I often don't mind just a solid restart. Who else thinks that Jennifer needs to chill out? Your painting is amazing. The mix of colors is beautiful. Hey, thanks, GPL. It's got to be chaos though, and it's got to be a bit of extra chaos to actually combat the amount of numbness that we have around us these days. Not many of us are surrounded by nature to enjoy. A lot of us need wild, primal, crazy art just to bring us back to what matters. Okay, a little bit more in there, a little bit more across there. Just love the red. You see how the red actually is playing a little bit too well with the black. And so it's kind of taking over the painting there a bit. We're going to dice it into some yellow and get some orange out of this. Steve says that's enough of Jennifer. I mean, I can't disagree there. It was escalating. But I think Jennifer was just really enthusiastic about paintings. I think she just, you know, she gets excited about creative energy. She wants to celebrate it. And sometimes, you know, it happens with children too. We get a lot of exciting enthusiasm, and it just comes out in all directions. So I'm not condoning the behavior. I'm just saying I'm a father of a 2-year-old and I understand. Right, let's get a bit more in here. Here we go. He's an amazing 2-year-old too. Okay. It's amazing how a single colour can just start getting in there and really shake up what is happening in the image. Here we go, hello. And down through here just a wee bit, just a wee bit. And then over there, Now this paint is getting dangerously close to the climax, the climactic point where actually any couple of strokes could suddenly finish it. So it's always a scary part to enter, because you just start having a lot of fun with the painting and then you suddenly realize, oh no, it's done. It's got to a point where actually it's telling the full story and I'm just painting it for my own pleasure now. I'm not taking it further. So that's a dicey place to go. Mia, you're reminding me of the last person who we were in here making fun of about doing a similar thing. And you don't want to be made fun of, do you? You want to be part of the team. This is how I speak to my 2-year-old. I wonder if, do you know when people actually create fake accounts and you're being someone you're not and things, which, you know, I can understand you're there doing that in the world. And then all of a sudden, you know, people would accuse you of not being, you know, Mia Gablonsky, the gorgeous supermodel from Paris. But now, they're just calling you a bot. And you're like, I'm not a bot. I'm a real person that's trying to catfish. Mia's just, I mean, I think I'm 100% sure Mia's a bot. I'm on your team. Who was that who said that? I'm on your team. But was that Joe? Let me come up here and see. Matt. Sorry, Matt. Like, how much would that hurt if you were getting called a bot and you were just trying to be out there catfishing? You'd be like, it just, I don't know. You're already not in a super high place and then someone's just pushing you down a little bit further. I don't know. You'd be like, I'm not a bot. Please just call me a fake person. It's tough out there, you know? Oh, that was a good stroke. That one there, that is a stroke that we wait for. I'm going to bring it up to show you this one. This is an absolute banger. Okay, I'll just swipe out of the comment section so I can show you guys. Up here, you see that, not that one, there we go, that Naples yellow right there in the middle of the screen right now. Live for that. That, if that there's in the finished result, that'll be well earned. That's exactly what we're after. We're back here now and you can't see it from there, but what that is doing is an exact, it's a beautiful example of the medium paint being kind of slippery, sloshy and fun, and the brush, a few strokes in it, while also defining the subject. Looks so simple and messy, but if we could do every stroke like that, oh, then I'd make paintings that I liked slightly more, but we can't. At the end of the day, we're doing as many strokes as we can, and about, honestly, the accuracy ratio on them, about 1 in 5 is a good stroke. And the other 4 are the things that get covered up as we just keep on building out this multitude inside the image. And I believe your ability to do impressionistic paintings is based on your ability and your degree of accuracy on those strokes. Sometimes you hit a good window where you're just getting, 1 and 2, or 4 out of 5 strokes are exactly where you want them to go. And when that's happening, oh, it's amazing. You thrash out amazing paintings in brief periods of time, and it feels really good and it comes together amazingly well. But you can't rely on that. You can't be judged on when you're having a fluke run of incredible workmanship. You're going to be judged on your day-to-day performance, how things come out every day, because that's going to be what makes or breaks you. And I think I'm being hard on myself there. I think my ratio is about 1 in 3 are a good stroke. But this is what I'm talking about. The fact that we've done a live here for about 60 minutes and I'm saying that's a banger. Like, these are all good ones, but that's a banger. You don't have a whole lot of real bona fide bangers. But as you keep going and layering up the paint, you're hoping enough bangers will rise, sorry, there's not a better term for that, will rise to the surface to make this whole painting express what we're looking to express. And at the moment, that's the gorge. Thanks for the follows, guys. I'm sorry I'm missing a few names there, but I love you guys to bits. Thank you so much for following. I'll show up with the same yarns and no new content tomorrow. Where have you been? I've been looking forward to seeing you for months. Look, I'm very, very sorry. I know it's rude to me. I want to apologize. And I want to ask you if we can dwell on me being back and not me being gone. It is a pleasure to be back, and I've been gutted to be away for so long. But low-key, that's my bird of paradise. I love that plant. Hey, leave it. Ah, good boy. Honestly, you're a good boy, but that's my birds of paradise. I love those plants. They have these massive flowers and they're just gorgeous. And there's 3 massive birds of paradise. And Loki's in the process of ascertaining what's a likable plant and what's not. So like bracken fern, different kinds of weeds, he's learned that he can pull those out, and I'll encourage it, good boy. And he's out there having a tug at the birds of paradise. And I'm like, no, not that one, that's a beautiful plant. And he's like, how am I supposed to know the difference? It's green, and I respect that. But ideally, he wouldn't hit up the lime tree, he wouldn't hit up the birds of paradise, and the Agapanthus can probably stay as well. But look, at the end of the day, I respect that he's doing his best. Yeah, they're just unique, right? They're unique. Birds of paradise have this, they reasonably hardy as well, but their flowers are so stiff and strong, whereas a lot of flowers are vulnerable. Like hibiscus flowers are beautiful, but they can be quite vulnerable, and it feels like every single birds of paradise flower is sculptural and perfect, robust, for lack of a better word, robust. Hey, thank you very much. Who's that? Kevy. Thank you, Kevy. I appreciate that. Guys, self-plug. If you want to follow here, I'd love you to. There's Instagram as well. Wherever suits you best, then I'd love to have you there. And or go on scrolling. Enjoy your day. Enjoy the middle of the night. Whatever's going on where you are. Heck, even go for the old danger follow. You know what a danger follow is? Okay, I made this up myself, but when you see someone's content that you like, there's this guy on Instagram at the moment for me, he's got a mustache and he does these hilarious little skits. He's big, strong looking fella, very funny. Anyway, a I call it a danger follow because I see content I like and it makes me laugh. And then I go, that's funny. And then I scroll because I'm like, you know what? I like to live dangerously. I think he might pop up for me again. and if he does, then I follow him the second time round. So if you're bold enough, don't follow. Go for the old danger follow. Go for the follow if I show up again. That's high risk material, guys. But that does require me to prove myself twice. And I think we need that in a world where there's just so much out there, and you know, who knows what you can trust or what's going to be consistent. Maybe someone needs to prove it to you twice before they're allowed to follow. I'm just saying that your follow is valuable and you should make me work for it. Also now, if it pops up that anyone says follow, everyone, all 110 of us will know that you're an easy follow. Don't be that person. I'm sorry, I'll stop. The algorithm will never fail you. They'll be back. Algorithm's a funny thing. I do like how it's aware of your time zone as well. So in the middle of the night, it gives you different content than it does in the morning and so forth. But I have got into a habit of not trying to watch too much reels or to hit. I try and watch 3 or 4 and then I stop and ask myself, how did this make me feel? And so that way I can see if it's actually giving good vibes, good emotion, or if it's actually making me numb. Because you want to make sure that that algorithm is serving you, and it can, and giving you uplifting content, stuff that doesn't make you numb, stuff that makes you want to have a good time, have a better day. If it's doing that, good. But check it, because sometimes it'll take you down somewhere. Like, I'm not saying negative stuff, but negative stuff, like, I don't know, rage baity, political. Like, there's nothing wrong with a bit of politics, but it's not politics that's positive. It's usually like down a hole that the AI knows is going to get you watching, get you upset, whatever that is. And you don't need that. There's enough things in a day to get stressed about without a robot actively trying to aggravate you. So get it to work for you. I see you there. Who's that? D. Adelia. She was like, oh. After the yarn I gave out, she's like, I'll wait 2 minutes and then I'll follow. Then I'll sneak under the radar. I see you. Oh, no, so I've called you out unfairly. Arif, you followed first. I see you. I see you. Muse, is that Muse Mouse? Muse. Yeah. Look, I feel like the thing about the algorithm, I feel like as soon as you make a decision to be like, nah, when that content comes on, I'm gonna move off, the robot quickly goes, cool. They respond to happy, inspirational, or motivational content, and they leave when I give them negative, rage-baity content. And suddenly, you make this robot who's trying to get your engagement and time out of you into your little, you make that robot your B word. Like, I can't say it on the stream, but like, this robot starts to work for you, and it starts to find you content that makes you feel better to keep you around for longer. Not just creates emotional energy in you to keep you there miserable, because it can go one or both ways. You gotta be careful with that. And I know this, because I end up in the hole pretty fast. And my little trick, like I say, watch 2 or 3 reels, put down the phone, and then take a mental check. How do I feel? Better, worse, numb, less numb, positive, less positive? How was I feeling beforehand? How do I feel now? If it's better, good. The doom scroll, the endless, there's something here, I can't wait to see it. I forgot what the last 100 reels were, but maybe the next one will show me something to make my life meaningful. That hole, that terrible, terrible place that if you have social media, you've been down. And sometimes, I'm not here insulting it, sometimes that hole feels good. It feels so good to go for like a doom scroll between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m. And sometimes I'm scrolling through content on my phone late at night and I'm trying to hold back laughter so I don't wake up Shelby beside me. And like, that's fun, don't get me wrong, but sometimes it's not like that. Sometimes you're not holding back laughter, you're literally thinking the world, and it might be falling apart, but you're thinking and actively worrying about the world falling apart when you know you should be sleeping because you've got a big day tomorrow. Sorry, Chad, let me come back up here. I missed a zinger from Chad. Oh no, you're gonna have to say it again, Chad, because I'm getting paint all over the phone screen. So, I've missed it. I've missed it. I'm sorry, Chad. I've cooked it. I've missed it, and I've butchered it all. So, and I don't know what color I want. What do I want? I feel like I want green again, but not a shade of green that I've already had. I want like a, I mean, the problem is you say green and you show up with this, like a permanent green light, and it's just, you always regret going in there with a tough raw green. You want a subtle green. There we go, like a teal. This is what we're talking about. Teal is good. Yellow, it can play with some yellow. I get scared of yellow. It looks so tacky on the surface up close, but I just slapped it around with orange. So give me a couple of other colors and then we can come in with the yellow and play around. Hey Pink, welcome on in. For those who don't know, Pink's been here since the get-go. Pink and Steve would be Pink, Steve, Ryan, RB, and Jay Smith. I said Jay Smith. These guys could all compete for time on the live stream, like historically, in terms of here from the early days. Because back in the early days, we're talking 2021. 2021? We're talking early in the piece, aren't we though? Early in the piece. Good morning, Denny. Welcome on in. And doom scrolling loves the Someone's like, doom scrolling loves the feeling of dread. It's exhilarating. I'm not gonna lie to you. Yeah, your heart racing in the morning thinking the world's coming down at 3 a.m. because your phone's told you something arbitrary from some random content that someone was like incentivized to post to like placate a robot and that you're now seeing. Yeah, it does feel good. It does. But it's like tobacco. You know it's bad for you. Not. But it's not really regulated. Like, you don't have to click, like with a cigarette packet in New Zealand, it's got this big yellow stamp on it that says smoking will kill you before the brand or anything else. And so you're always aware that anyone who picks up a pack of cigarettes gets the acknowledgement that this is bad for you. But then with social media, you click into your reels and it's like, hey, here's something really funny. It doesn't go, hey, you're missing out on valuable time with your kids. Or maybe that's too much. You know what I mean? Like, I saw a reel that literally humbled me the other day. It was this lady saying breakfast from your child's perspective. And it was this mother saying, go on, eat that. And then looking back at her phone, going, 2 more mouthfuls, and looking back at her phone. And I'm like, oh, gross. That's me. And it was a little bit of a wake-up call because I do have a tendency to go on my phone around my child, and I always think about the room from my experience, which is, the whole room's here and I'm just glazing down at my phone. And then I don't often think about it from my child's perspective of there's a whole room here, but I'm their whole world and I'm looking at my phone and I'm not here with them. So that's a brutal thing to realize. And one of the things that I've used to try and tone it back has actually been this Apple Watch. So people can get in touch with me via the watch and not have to have my phone in my pocket, not even be tempted by it. The worst thing someone trying to quit smoking could do is have a packet of cigarettes and a lighter in their pocket, right? Like, that's not gonna help whatsoever. And the phone in my pocket was like that for me. It's tough. I met this guy actually it was Fonzie at a conference thingamajiggy, and he posts on social media, and he was like, the only way I can be this close to the fire and not become addicted, he downloads the apps. Get this, he downloads the apps and he posts, then he removes the apps. Wow. Like, I'm not quite that hardcore, but I'm just saying, like, make sure there's so much good that can come from social media, inspiration, joy, and fun into your life. But don't let it take away from your life. There's so many valuable moments that you deserve that you can have. So, just want to say that. Like, get those good moments, baby. All right. I mean, the real tragedy is if we thought that the most joy we can get in any given moment would come from the phone. I'm gonna be honest with you. Let me be completely honest. The one thing I enjoy more than scrolling on the phone late at night, not a word of a lie, late at night, the thing I like to do, it's Loki chewing on my shoe, I like to play Skyrim. I don't want to play a new game. I hear about this Path of Exile and all these fancy new things. I don't want the new games. I want that game that came out in 2010 that I kind of understand, but it's open world and I can kind of do what I want. I kind of stroll around and, you know, I'm not out there doing main storyline. Never. I'm out there like with a hunter's bow, just like trying to shoot down an elk, just like missing with iron arrows. That's my vibe, 2 AM in the morning. But the only barrier between that and the phone is I've got to get out of bed and go turn on the PlayStation. So I normally default to the phone just because it's easier. Anyway, hey look, that's enough of my yarns though. They started at the start of the live as like B+, and they've steadily gone downhill since then, so I apologize. The lighting's changed so much now that I actually am not seeing the right pigments in the painting. So we're gonna use the last of this and then I'm gonna dash off. If you are gonna spot a follow, which I would really appreciate, do it now because this live is ending in the next 3 to 4 minutes. I will say thank you very much to everyone who's been here from the start or joined in. You're a pack of legends. This is kind of like at the moment, imagine the end credits rolling up, produced by TikTok, Seb, starring Loki for a bit of it, you know, and no disruption from Cooper. She's inside watching Trolls #1, and no, Trolls World Tour. Apparently there's a difference. Anyway, wherever you are in the world, thank you, and I hope you have a great day or a great night. To all the regulars who jump on in here and share this painting with me, I appreciate you. You make this process possible, you make it fun for me, and thank you very much. Much love. From New Zealand, I am going to go watch my brushes and decide. It was supposed to flick, it was supposed to be cool. Decide what's for dinner. Cheers guys, from Germany. I've been to Munich for the Beer Fest with Shelby. I loved it. What a place. One day I'll go back. Much love team. Bye.